Welcome to the in-between,
where shift happens,
the moment between where we are
and where we are going.
We will ask all the questions,
maybe find some answers,
and generally work at being okay.
The mystery of the in-between.
And today we are talking about looking for the good, or finding the good, or I don't know, something about good.
Looking for the good.
I'm looking. This is the in-between. And if you are new or need the reminder, the way this works is we have agreed on a topic for this episode, and I have come with questions that Ryan knows nothing about.
Nothing.
And so we're just going to dive right into that squidgy middle, the in-between, where lots of things happen, where shift starts to happen. And so we signed on to our software today to record this and found out there were all kinds of new updates. So
y'all are in for it.
Yeah. One of those is a soundboard. So we have all kinds of fun sound effects that we have never used before and will probably use inappropriately throughout this episode.
I will try to restrain myself.
Yeah. So, finding the good. So I think let's start with what does that even mean? To look for the good. When you hear that, what do you think? What comes to mind when you hear finding the good?
Well, two things. I think what historically came to mind, I'll go there first. I think what historically comes to mind when we think about good, and then I'll answer with a hopefully more evolved understanding, my own evolution. I think that historically I thought looking for the good meant like looking for everything that I like and focusing on everything that makes me feel good, everything that is easy, all the things that I deem good, right?
Good.
I think the good is
this is good and that's bad.
Right. So the good is subjective, I think. And so I guess it's like, what does that even mean? I think it means different things for different people. But I think for me now, understanding that the good, in my definition, is like the movement behind everything. So for me, the good is like this understanding that there is something moving everything. And when I can remember that, when I can try to expand my vision beyond like a little speck, then it kind of helps me understand like my place and responsibility in all the things, right? So for me, it's less about like, oh, that's good, or look at that person, they're doing good, or look at that situation, that's bad, right?
Yeah.
But it's more of like a curiosity.
Yeah.
Is what it's kind of shifted in for me. And I know that seems like, obviously that's easier said than done, right? I mean, it takes like a conscious like effort to be like, wow, that situation was really uncomfortable and I didn't like that. But now it's created this conversation, which now has led to this thing. And so then you can see the good because it's the movement.
Yeah. I love that. Because I'll be honest, when I first came up with this topic, I was like, oh, that's great. And then I was thinking about like, what questions do I ask about this? And as I'm kind of playing it through in my head, I'm like, ooh, this starts to get kind of weird. I think it was exactly what you're just talking about, is like that, what I would kind of deem like the old school quote good, which is very dualistic, good and bad.
Right.
I think often gets talked about in a way that's very like bypassy. Like, you should only have good. And if you don't have good, if you have bad, you're doing it wrong. Like, the goal is to have good, only good all the time. And obviously that's just like not possible in that perspective, to only have good things happen and never have bad things happen. Like, that's obviously just not.
Well, and then you project your own sense of good onto other people's experiences, right? What I may see as something that, I mean, the last thing I want to do is fly in an airplane, bad. but a lot of people, other people enjoy that airplane good.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah. Airplane bad.
so I mean, I know
We have a caveman
that's
sound
silly.
effect.
I mean, that's a silly whatever, but I mean, it's the same sort of thing. If we go through like our lives saying good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, then what happens is we try to avoid everything that we see as bad or difficult.
Yes. Yes.
And then that makes our world very small.
Mm. Yeah.
Tiny.
And like harsh, like very like cut and dry, either or, this or that. And yeah.
Well, and that's not to negate the fact that, there are some things, there's some really terrible things going on in the world, and really terrible things
Right.
that are happening to people. So I think, I think what we're talking about, I'm assuming, is kind of this kind of larger understanding way up here. I think that we can't bypass the fact that really bad things happen.
Yeah.
Down here on this kind of like low level. But I think what we're talking about is this, like you just said, like bypassing. Like, I only want to talk about good things. I only want to hear good, the good vibes only. That's it. I think that's where, like,
well, and the good vibes only crowd, I don't know every single one of them, so I don't know for sure.
we know enough of them, right?
Yeah, I've known enough to know that I think we tend to end up in that crowd because we don't want to look at the awful things. Like, we haven't developed the skills to look at the awful things, and it's so upsetting that we're just like, no, that's not real, it's not happening, or I'm just going to turn a blind eye to it and only focus on the good. And like, I think there are, like you said, what we would call bad things and terrible things happening in a variety of magnitude all over the place all the time. And so I think this is where I kind of landed when I was dabbling with questions in my head, is that there is both terrible and bad things happening at the same time, that there is also opportunity when we feel up for it to find good. That doesn't mean we have to or need to in every moment. Like, I think if we're in the middle of like some shit going down, I'm not going to be like, you should find the good. You should like
find the good in that.
Yeah. That starts to sound a whole lot like, just look for the lesson.
And that makes me want to do this.
Is that the punch sound effect?
That's the punch. That makes me want to do. Oh my God. Well, what's interesting is I think that, when we like, oh, let's only look for the good, or we only want to see the good. But in essence, often we have to look at the things that aren't working, the things that are terrible, in order to then activate the good.
Yeah.
Because I think that when we are able to recognize those things in our world, those things in our experience, whatever, that are like, wow, that's not working for me or for other people, or wow, that's really a horrific lived experience of a person. Well, then what that does is it activates that, okay, what is the good that I can do? Or what is the thing that I can activate that can make this situation better, more equitable, like all the things. And so it's like, you can't have the good, and air quotes, without having an understanding of like the real lived experiences, which aren't always going to be those desirable things. Like, life is made up of a lot of desirable and undesirable experiences.
We have this quote that we use very often around our house, and it is from the movie The Incredibles.
I like that movie.
And it's a great movie. And the supervillain, who is this kid. So a little backstory. The kid is like super mega fan of Mr. Incredible. And one time Mr. Incredible is like out saving people from like this train crash or whatever. And the kid's trying to help, and the guy gets frustrated because he's like, I can't protect all these people in the train and you at the same time. Like, you got to go home. So he sends the kid away. And that's like the origin story for the kid to turn into a villain, because his like superhero just like banished him, kind of thing. Right. And so his mission in life is now to like rid the world of superheroes. And so there's this scene where he's trying to make everyone into a superhero. He goes, when everyone's super, no one is. So we use that, and we just kind of use it ironically, like all the time around our house. Like, well, when everyone's super, no one is, or when everyone's special, no one is. Right? It's kind of the same thing. Like, if everything is good, nothing is. Like, if everyone's a superhero, then no one's super, because we've just now raised the bar. Everyone's all equal and the same, and there's no difference, right? So I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, when everything's good, nothing is, because it's all just meh. It would just be like a static experience. And I think, we do really need those, like the uppest of ups and the downest of downs to kind of really appreciate the things we have, the things we get, the experiences we're going through. Right. I mean, I kind of look at it like, if there's like a horizontal line, and if that's like just zero, we're just kind of going through life, and that's just whatever. Well, we have, experiences that we enjoy, what we call, quote, good, which kind of rise above that line. And I think we have experiences that we don't enjoy, maybe we call bad, that dip below that line. And the more up we have, the more downs we're going to have. But because we have the downs, we also get to experience higher ups. And I think a lot of us are taught to like compress those downs. Like, when we compress the down, we bring those up, we're also compressing the highs, right? When we compress the lows, we're compressing the highs. We're just kind of squeezing in from both sides towards that zero. And I don't know that I don't know how many people really think about that a lot, but when we don't allow ourselves to have lows, we also aren't allowing ourselves to have the highs. Like, we're cutting off that emotional experience of, I mean, it's kind of that adage of like, grief is the price you pay for love.
Yeah.
At some point, the things you love are going to end, whether it's somebody dies or a relationship ends or whatever. It's like, that is we're kind of investing in that relationship, knowing that at some point we're going to grieve the end of it in some way.
Well, and then, it leaves us like just chasing for those upper moments, right? And I think, for myself, like when I've kind of just been living for those moments, then you miss everything else. Like, you miss all the things. And I'm reading this book by Barbara Brown Taylor called Altars in This World. And it's just talking about how these, like, our everyday life, like, if we look at it through the lens of like every sort of moment, it's like there's so many things that we would take for granted that are altars, as she calls them altars, but like those sacred spaces, those like juicy life moments. And I think it's like, this is kind of similar to that conversation of the sacred and the profane and the mundane, right? And so this understanding that, and we always have this need to label things. And I mean, that's kind of biologically like wired into our brain to label in order to like kind of understand ourselves in relationship to things. But I think like the more that we can loosen some of those labels, I think that we'll really experience things in a different way.
Yeah. Labels. Ugh.
Labels, silly.
So I was going to ask if this is something that you think we should practice. Like, should we be finding the good, or should we actively be looking for the good? And I guess that kind of stemmed from like this that old school mentality of like only looking for the good. But it the conversation we're having kind of changes that a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's we should or not. And I'm the person, if you tell me I should do something,
You're not going to do it.
now I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Well, I think instead of should, I think that it would benefit us to be open to the experience of looking, not just looking for the good or looking for whatever the bad, but just looking.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, for my own self, that's when I miss things or see things or don't see things, right? Is when I'm not even looking. And so I think it's like this practice of looking, this practice of awareness, this practice of soaking up the moment sort of thing. I don't know.
Kind of feels like a curiosity.
Yes, I guess that's
right.
what I'm trying to say.
Like there's just a curiosity to like, I'm not out here trying to make sure I'm always looking for good. Like I can recognize bad, but I'm not going to make sure I'm looking for good. Like it's not even that. I think it's just being curious about what's happening.
Yeah. Leaning into that curiosity.
Yeah. And recognizing it's almost like the good happens regardless of whether we label it or find it or look for it or whatever. And so does the things that we don't want and they're not good and or whatever. But we don't ever see them if we're not open to looking for them. I guess, right? Like if we're curious enough to just kind of like pause and look around and just observe, what's going down? And not, and I guess for the whole should idea, the shift in my mind is what I'm realizing is it's not like we should or shouldn't, but I'm wondering if it's more about like, do I have the capacity right now to be curious and observe and see good things that are going on? Because honestly, like sometimes it just feels like I'm just in the moment that I'm in.
Right.
And it does not feel very good, and I think that's okay too. And then I do think there is benefit then, for me at least, not to tell anyone what to do. I have found benefit.
Never.
Yeah, no. I have found benefit then in like, as soon as I remember, like, oh, okay. Yes, I am going to pause now and find something that is enjoyable and good that is going on right now.
Yeah.
And I also think there is this is going to sound weird, but like there's almost an element of being able to enjoy most experiences, even if it's not the one we thought we wanted. Or like, I mean, yeah, there are terrible things, and there are things we do not have to enjoy and we don't like, and we can certainly label as bad things. And I think there are things that are like painful that we can also see as forward moving things, right? You're saying about good being like the thing that moves us forward. I think there are things and events that happen in our lives that we can almost come to, I don't know, enjoy is not quite the right word, but like not have to fight our way through, right?
Right.
Like I think they're like let's talk like emotions. Like I've come to a place where I enjoy most of the emotions, even the ones that feel painful. There is like a almost cliche place in me that's like, wow, like I'm so glad that I can recognize what it's like to experience these emotions now, because I used to either avoid them or like over exaggerate them, and it was awful and painful. But now it's like I've kind of worked out some stuff around a lot of those things, and you're like, oh man, I can I can sit with this. This is a shitty emotion, but I'm really glad that I can sit with this emotion and I know what this is. And I think also part of that comes from being able to experience those highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Like, I know this is not permanent. It's for right now. It's a moment, and the ups come with downs, and the downs come with ups. So, I don't know what the term for that is. Like, I don't know what we would call that, but like I think there is an experience of being able to, for lack of a better word, enjoy or find that forward moving kind of good in most of the things that are happening most of the time.
Yeah.
And also there are moments where I do not and feel like I cannot do that.
Yeah. And I think I think that we miss label like the things that we don't enjoy are not good. But like I said, like with this kind of like what I'm trying to have this expanded understanding is that we're always moving. I mean, we're always moving forward.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, it's forward, but in our, our human like language, that's what we say. Things are always moving.
Yeah.
Things are never static. And so when I can see life as fluid and not static, that I have to be like happy all the time, or I need to resist being sad or resist being angry, right? Because we're kind of wanting this static state of happiness. I think it's the same thing with good. It's like the static state of what we say is good.
Yeah.
And if it varies in any way, then we're doing something wrong, or that person's doing something wrong, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think if we can understand the fluidity of life, then I think that we can just kind of loosen our hold over the experiences we think we have to like hold so tight to.
Yeah.
Because everything is changing. That is the only lasting truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is change. We're not always going to be happy. We're not always going to be sad. We're not always going to be anxious. We're not always going to be depressed, right? It's those things move. And I think that, like you're saying, that if we could experience, just kind of see them for what they are, information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then use that information, I think that's probably a more supportive way of navigating things.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's do the 2-minute drill.
2-minute drill.
That should be a sound effect.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Oh.
All right. How do we do this? The 2-minute version. What does it actually look like? Like what practices or experiences have you had specifically that allow you or have allowed you to like see that good?
For me, I've been trying consciously just to allow experiences, allow emotions, allow thoughts, just to kind of take a breath and just kind of like, okay, feel them, think them, whatever, experience them, and kind of play it to the end. That always helps me. Kind of play, especially like in like anxiety or anger or things that are sometimes can be uncomfortable in our bodies. It's like, okay, let me play this out to the end. It's almost like letting it cycle. I don't know if you've ever read Burnout, but they talk about the cycle of stress, the cycle of anxiety. And what happens is if you try to disrupt the cycle and like get stuck in it or resist it, then it actually you get stuck in it and it doesn't cycle out. Right.
Oh,
and so, and so allowing the full cycle of it, and then the energy of it dissipates and shifts to something else. Right. And so that's what I try to do that. Not only with obviously starting with like emotions, but with experiences too. Just just going to cycle that out. And I found myself being less reactive. And so I think that really shifts how I'm experiencing things. So I can just, because, oftentimes I'll like, something will happen and I immediately want to react. That immediately like, poof, instead of just allowing the feeling that I'm feeling to flow through and then responding from whatever place that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, like I said, easier said than done. And like, I may do it like 0.5% of the time, but I'm becoming more and more aware when I don't do it. So that's also kind of half the learning, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's why it's a practice, right?
Right. Not
We're
a perfect
practicing
practice,
doing
not a perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I like what's worked for me sometimes is just trying to put things in context. Like you said, like when I realize I'm having that experience, having that reaction or overreaction or whatever, even just having the thing to interrupt that or kind of take a step back from that, like you said, like let the emotion have its 90 seconds or whatever it's going to take, but then also to like wait a minute, all right, how important is this really?
Mhm.
Like, does this actually matter?
Yeah.
Or am I just annoyed because whatever,
Right.
like to just kind of take a step back and put it into context, like how important is this actually in my whole life? Does this just feel really important right now? Is this going to have long-term impact? Maybe it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And
Like a
just kind of,
perspective taking.
yeah.
Yeah.
You put it into the context of what else might be going on or is not going on, or realize it's not important at all.
Yeah.
Or there are times where I realize it is important, but then I'm kind of having that. There's a greater appreciation from that step back of like, oh wow, this actually is really important. But then I'm also not like stuck in it. I'm able to like observe it happening and recognize the importance of it and go, wow, that does feel heavy, or that feels whatever it is, right? And then kind of just be with it.
Yeah.
And I'm then not stuck in reacting from it, or stuck in like, some kind of like the loop you're talking about, not getting stuck. I think that's the thing, is what can we do to just not get stuck in repeating the thing?
Yeah.
So context is great. I'm gonna try and do that more.
Well done.
Yeah. Yes. Clap for us. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here in the in-between. We're trying to figure it out just like everybody else. So we're shifting and moving and doing all the things. And that is what happens in the in-between. So hopefully you have maybe even gleaned a little glimpse of something to take with you. And thanks for being here, and we will see you next time in the in-between.
Nobody really enjoys being in the in-between.
But thanks for being here anyway.
We may not have found all the answers,
But certainly some. And maybe more importantly,
a little shift has happened.
and the beauty of it all is that we are not alone in the in-between.
So until next time, we hope a lot of shift happens.